For those of you that watched this year's TennoCon, you probably remember this moment.
Whenever I see a Reddit thread that says, what is your unpopular opinion about Warframe? And it's always that Trinity is horrendously overpowered, in my opinion. And no. Hear me out.
Don't turn the crowd.
Just the fact that she can give infinite energy and infinite health in 2 button presses just bothers me. Because she needs 50 energy to give the entire squad infinite everything, basically. Yep. It enables the Dracos and all the other stuff. Yep. And so I'm not saying she needs less power. I just think she might need to work for it a little bit more. Yeah. So I was wondering.
In other words, the guy believes that Trinity is overpowered due to her ability to practically give her squad infinite energy at the cost of only 50 to cast Energy Vampire, so he thinks that granting energy should require a bit more skill rather than being a simple push button and receive ability. Before you panic about incoming Trinity nerfs, DE has said that Trinity isn't even on their to-do list right now, as there are other Warframes in bigger need of attention. Anyways, let's look again at exactly what he said.
I'm not saying she needs less power. I just think she might need to work for it a little bit more. Yeah.
So while he's certainly not advocating for more direct Trinity nerfs, he instead suggests Trinity have a bit more work involved. While it's obvious that nobody wants Trinity to be gutted again, the tricky part to dealing with Trinity is changing her to do more than just push a button for energy while at the same time not making her weaker or downright worse than before. You can't go overboard with changing Trinity, because then you risk turning her Energy Vampire into a worse or potentially not worth ability to use. If the end goal for Trinity is to make Energy Vampire be more than a push for energy ability, you have to be careful in how you proceed with changing Energy Vampire, because not only will overdoing it piss off those that like Trinity, but it'll also make Energy Vampire more of a chore to use rather than a work for energy power. In terms of working for energy, I think that Harrow would be a decent example to use, as his usage of Thurible requires it to be channeled first, and then headshots are required if you're looking for maximum energy payout. Changing Energy Vampire to be more of an involved power like Thurible is by no means something that will go without opposition, because Trinity has practically been the go-to healer for squads since the game's inception. Doing anything to drastically change how she works will just seem like an out-of-nowhere nerf that only happened because it was brought up at TennoCon. While I personally do agree that Energy Vampire is a bit too easy of an ability to use considering what it does, especially with a max power strength build, I do still think that Trinity does not need any more nerfs. Changes, sure. Depending on how they're executed, changes to Trinity would be fine if you ask me. Nerfing her however would be out of line. Obviously I'm not the one to look to for how Trinity's changes should be made, because I myself hardly play Trinity, not because I don't like her, but because her kit of heal plus give energy and damage reduction doesn't interest me. When it comes to the nerf versus don't nerf argument for Trinity, I would put myself in the middle. Yes, Energy Vampire would be fine being updated to not be use and forget, but that doesn't mean Energy Vampire warrants a nerf or complete overhaul, because that's not anything that Trinity needs right now. I don't always play healer frames, but when I do, I prefer Oberon. Thank you for watching.